Hey guys, we got this beautiful slingshot that today we are actually doing an install on the gap pillars. So we've got our gap pillar stuff here, we've got our right and left, and we're also going to install the gap pillar chaser. So this particular slingshot has our chaser kit, and we're going to go ahead and piggyback off that system and install the gap pillar. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right guys, so let's go ahead and get this thing taken out. So every single one of our gap pillars is actually laser cut, and we've got a 100-ton press brake, and we're gonna slip in a clip here for you guys to see how this is actually made. And it is actually quite beautiful how it is actually bent, and you guys can see how seamless this look and how beautiful the press brake is on this and how precise this is actually done. And this gap pillar chaser, the backlight for this slingshot is going to be just amazing. And this is the actual grill piece that if you guys purchase this option, that is actually going to be in between here. That is going to fill in this particular section here that I will show you later. So let's go ahead and get this thing mocked up for position only so I can show you. Okay, so we're back on the front right, and I've got the gap pillars here. So this particular one has got the gap pillar, and if you have a gap pillar, so on the very bottom here, you've got a push pin, and back here you actually do not have a hole. And on the bottom of the gap pillar, you've got two slotted holes. So on the very front one is where your push pin will go, and the very back one, we're gonna drill a pilot hole, and this is where we're going to put the actual U-nuts on the back, and we're gonna put a 6mm bolt through the back. So we're gonna fasten that here towards the back. So it will mount flush towards the bottom. So what you'll wanna do is remove the clip here on the very front first. So you'll want to move this push nut here, remove that, and you're going to position this and mount the U-nut, or actually the push clip, on the very front, so it'll actually hold it into place, and it'll be flush towards the back. So when you have it flush like that, and as you can see, the bolt here on the top, we're going to remove that, and you'll be supplied with the longer bolt that'll go through here and through the back. Now you'll be provided with a little bumper, silicone bumper, that you'll put on the back of this. And so there'll be a little bit of cushion between this metal and this plastic piece. Now, the front end of the slingshot varies from model to model, and some are a little bit more crooked than others, but the way that this pillar was made, you can actually adjust this. So this particular piece was made to where you can actually bend this in and out depending how your headlight is. So you can bend this out and cant it depending on your light if you do need to make that adjustment. So on this particular piece, I will not have to do that because the hole will pretty much already line up. I will just go ahead and probably apply a little bit of pressure to get that bolt to line up, but it will pretty much go ahead and line up. And so right now I've got it positioned, and I will go ahead and get all my hardware secured, and I will install the light first on the table, but I just wanted to see if this lined up pretty good or not before I get everything buttoned down. So now you guys got the idea as far as pre-positioning everything first before making all your final hardware adjustments and installing. Hey guys, okay, so I am on the left side and I've got this gap pillar, so I am going to again line it up on the very bottom, get it flush down to the bottom, get it lined up, and again I've got the bolt there on the back where I can see, and it's pretty much lining up. And again, I've got my knee here on the bottom. I'm kind of putting some slight pressure, lining it up, and it's lining up really nice here and to the top. And I can see the bolt hole there, and it's lining up. And so once I put the push pin and I bolt this down to the bottom, it'll actually bring this whole gap pillar up, and I'll be able to screw this down up here at the top. So it's actually looking pretty nice. So this particular bike is actually going to line up pretty good, but again, like I said, a lot of the some of the slingshot is going to be a little bit off, and we do know that. Some you will see big gaps, some you will not, but we do know that from slingshot to slingshot some are off, and that is the reason why that we've made this the way that it is. And so you can bend this to cant in and out, and that is by design like that. So you can make some adjustment depending on how the front of the slingshot, if it's off or not. All right guys, so back to the table here. So we've got our gap pillars, and so if you've opted here for the chaser kit, so you can do a standalone chaser kit, or if you actually already have the chaser kit, this will be pretty easy because the chaser kit will actually plug into the very front spoiler. And so we've made a very specific kit where you'll just plug in to the front spoiler. So we've made an extension where you'll come off from the gap pillar and you'll just plug it into the very bottom splitter right in the center of the front spoiler, coming off of each side of the gap pillar. So these gap pillar LED have a diffuser built into them and a special double-sided LED. So the LED is actually inverted. So when we go to install them, we will actually install them like this, and they will install upside down, so they will actually be diffused facing outwards, and the wire will actually be running downwards. So they will start off at the top facing downwards, and everything will disappear all underneath the bike. So you're provided alcohol swab, a primer, and what you will do is clean this really good with the alcohol and the primer, and you will adhere the LED strip. You'll actually peel off the red protective liner, which will expose the adhesive, and you'll just point that down, and you will start basically right where the cutout is, a little bit up. Right up the edge of the LED here, you want to line that up to the edge of the metal here towards the top, and then just basically stick it down just like that, and you'll repeat that the same for this side. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and adhere this LED to this, and we'll go ahead and show you guys here on the bench what it looks like before we go ahead and proceed. And let's not forget the hardware bag also. So this particular hardware will be for this particular gap pillars. And you'll be given this particular silicone pieces, like I was mentioning earlier. We will put this on the back side of this particular gap pillars, and this will provide some cushion on the particular headlight, because this will be the piece up against the plastic piece, so they won't rub. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing cleaned up. Alright guys, so now that we've got this dried up, we're going to go ahead and use our primer here. I'm just going to put some primer here on the top because this is where we're going to put our little silicone. So once you've applied that, just go ahead and let that dry. Okay guys, so now that we've got the primer all dry, I've got the LED, and what I've done is I've got a test box for you guys to see here on the bench what this would look like. So again, what I was mentioning earlier is how you want to position this. So the top of the LED here, what you want to do is line it up to the top of this metal piece right here. Okay, so top of the LED, line it up to the top of this metal piece right there. Just like that. Top of the LED, top of the metal piece, and that'll line up the diffuser with the slingshot writing perfectly. All right, so, and side to side, it's perfect, so there's not going to have any play. So just make sure you got that lined up perfect. So let's go ahead and flip this over, and we'll peel this red backing. Make sure you got some nails to do this, so it makes it easier. All right, so got this peeled off. Again, like I said, just make sure we got this lined up. Top of that LED with that metal piece right there lined up. So just adhere just a small section, and then I will go ahead and peel off the rest of the red here. Got that top lined up, and then just simply just drop the LED in there. And like I said, the side to side is perfect. We made them the perfect width, and then just go ahead and just drop that in there. And we've already got this all hooked up on the bench power, and let's go ahead and get this turned on. so you guys can see. So we've got our red, green, and blue. So this particular system is running a chaser on the Slingshot. So we've got every color, but let's go ahead and get this thing chasing all the different colors. It's gonna look pretty slick when it's all done. All right, guys, so it's looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and finish up here the other side. It's looking pretty slick. All right, so this is our silicone protector that we're going to put on the back side. I'm just gonna put that on diagonally, so it'll help protect between the metal and the plastic surface. That's okay. Now that we've got our light put on, we're going to go ahead and mount this up on the bike. So we've got the wiring here. We're gonna put that on the back side. We're gonna line this up on the front. And I've gone ahead and I've removed the push pin that's on the very front hole here. And I'm going to push this back, and I'm going to put the push pin back just for positioning only on the very front here. All right, got the push pin up. I'm going to go ahead and secure that. So this will actually hold this in place. And you'll be able to get that lined up. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and mark this hole here, because what we want to do is we want to drill a hole there so that we can put our U-clip, and so we can put our 6mm bolt through here and secure that this second hole down here also. All right, with this unit flushed, and we've got our push pin holding it into place. We've got our bottom flushed here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna secure and drill on the bottom so we can put our U-clip down here, and so we can secure this back hole with the 6mm. Alright guys, so once you've drilled it, we're gonna slide our U-clip over, right over the hole. Once you got it lined up, we're gonna slide the gap pillars right back over it. Once we've got the holes lined up, take your 6mm bolt, slide that up there, get the thread started. And go ahead and get this tightened up. Just snug it up for now. All right, so we got that secured. We've got our push pin up there. And let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and get this thing lined up, and we'll secure that one down before we fasten everything down. All right guys, now that we got the bottom secured, I'm kind of holding this out here at the top. And as you can see here, I've got the top hole lined up and the gap pillars lined up, and we're gonna go ahead and start hand threading the top section here. So we've got the 6mm longer bolt, and we've got a rubber washer that's right on the back of the bolt here. And we're just gonna start by hand threading it first. And once we've got that started with thread, now we're gonna go ahead and tighten it down. But it's starting to look really good now. Okay. All right, guys. So we're looking really sharp here. We're looking good. I like it. I like it. All right. So we're just gonna repeat that here on the other side. This gap pillar is looking really nice. I like it. So now, once we've got the other side put on, we're gonna go ahead and connect the LED. So we've got our wiring here on the back side, and that's just gonna disappear right to the back, right here, and it's gonna go right to the bottom. And we've got our chaser kit right here, the existing one, right down the center of the bike. So we're going to disconnect one of the splitter right here, and we're gonna install our 1 to 3 that comes in that kit, and then we're just gonna go plug one of them back in here, and then we're gonna go one that way, and we're gonna go one that way, and we will be done. It's gonna be controlled by the same controller. All right guys, now that we've got the left side buttoned down, the very last thing that we want to do with the hardware is we want to remove this push pin on both sides, because we were only using this as positioning only. And we want to go ahead and put our last bit of hardware on here, which is our 6mm bolt and our lock nut from the top. So this is the 6mm, and this is the lock nut that we are going to put on the top to go ahead and secure that last bit. So we are no longer going to use that that push pin, and we're going to replace it with this one on each side. All right, just secure the top, hold the nut, and go ahead and drive it down, and just get it nice and snug. We just want to make sure that it's held on tight, and that's pretty much it. And just do that the same with the right hand side. So one of the last bit of hardware I wanted to show you was these mesh guards that go in between the plastic gap fillers and the gap pillars on the outside. So this is the left-hand side and the right-hand side, and they mount just like this. And this is the hardware kit, so you will get 6 screws and 6 lock washers. So this lock washer is actually a 7/16 and a 4mm head here. So I will show you here how it installs. It's pretty quick. I've installed one side, just an example for you guys. So let's go ahead and here and take a look. So these will mount up just like this from the back. So this is the passenger side. They'll go right on the back side like this. So the wide part is towards the bottom, matches up like that. And the 3 holes here will actually match up with the 3 holes on the back of the gap pillars. And they'll go just like that. And as you can see, the bend goes right behind the plastic gap filler. And they kind of contour very nice. So you'll see that the 3 bolt holes just kind of match up right there. And you're going to put the bolts from the back and the lock nut here from the front. And I've already installed the other side, so let's take a look at how that's done here. So you've got the lock nut here on the front side, which from the front here you won't be able to see. And I've already put the bolts here from the back side, and you'll just go ahead and secure that here on the front side. So they look really sharp once they're actually on. And super tight and secure because they've got that overlap that'll grab the back of this and secured nicely here on the back side. So this is an add-on that you guys can do, but it really has a nice presence to it once you add this additional piece. But we're pretty much all done as far as this hardware, and now the very last piece that we're gonna do is just connect this chaser kit to the existing kit here on this bike. Okay, so with your kit, with your chaser kit, you've got a 1-to-3 splitter. You've got 2 36-inch extension. So don't forget to use their dielectric grease on all your connection here. And we're gonna install the 36-inch connection. Once we've made this connection here with a 36-inch, we're gonna run this thing across underneath the slingshot, right to the center. So this is the current 1-to-2 splitter in the center, and we're gonna put the 1-to-3 splitter. We're gonna disconnect one of these and put the 1-to-3 splitter right here. So we've got the 1-to-3 splitter. We connect it back to the original one. Now we've got the 2 open. We'll connect 1 to each side of the gap pillars. All right, so we've made our connection. So we've got 1 going to the left side. We've got 1 going to the passenger side here. And now we're just gonna go ahead and zip tie everything back up, and we should be good to go. Here's the final product. Here's a nice side shot look. We've got the add-on mesh grill, the side cutout with the chaser added on. So it just really adds to the width. If not, it's just the gap filler here, and all of this is actually missing off the side. So it really gives it that nice girth width to it. Super sharp. And so we did the add-on chaser, which this particular customer already had. So all we did was just add it on to his particular kit. And I'm going to go ahead and show you now what this looks like. So he has the underglow, he also has the wheel rings. You guys like that? Thank you for watching. And that is our new gap pillars. And this actually fits for all models from 2015 to 2024. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and you guys have a great day.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you new content and innovative products.